Good morning. If you have decided to study and you want to become a professional hypnotherapist, keep watching our training videos about clinical hypnosis. Hypnotherapy is an effective technique with which you can help and improve the quality of life of a great number of your future patients. Remember, read the description of this video where you can find a link to free training classes on clinical hypnosis. And also, you can download some ebooks also free. The information in this video is extracted from our book Direct Clinical Hypnosis, Deep Hypnosis, of our publisher Clinical Hypnotherapy, registered with ISBN. Direct Clinical Hypnosis, the memory of water. Water is the only liquid that loses weight when it freezes. If we let it flow freely on an inclined plane, no matter how smooth it will follow a meandering course with an enigmatic spiral design. Some scientists have even hypothesized that it may even record in this structure the entire memory of life on Earth. Approximately 90% of our body is water. We could therefore say that to study water is to study ourselves. Recently, there has been talk in scientific circles of the so-called memory of water. The underlying idea is that water is influenced by its environment, by the materials in its vicinity, and also by radiation and vibrations that can change certain characteristics of water. Masaru Emoto, a Japanese naturopath mentioned in the wonderful documentary What Do You Know?, provides evidence to prove the memory of water. He proclaims beyond doubt that water is capable of storing information and that it can be made visible with the help of photography. The shape of the ice crystals changes depending on the nature of the information the water is confronted with. Starting with pure water, he took 2 equal samples of the same water and subjected them to a series of different tests. For example, one container was subjected to one kind of placid music and the other to insidious music, or one sample was subjected to the recording of a hateful voice and the other to a loving voice. Or he wrote one text or another, or pasted one picture or another. Then he took both samples of distilled water and froze them at 5 below zero. Finally, he observed how the water crystallized and photographed what he saw. In all cases, the samples that had been subjected to a pleasant, positive, loving intention, etc., presented a perfect, harmonious, and beautiful crystallization. On the other hand, samples subjected to negative, hateful, etc. intentions showed almost no crystallization and were subjectively perceived as unpleasant. How can this be explained scientifically? Apparently, there is some variable that is introduced that escapes our technology. The music, the word, the image, the intention. The only differential variable in both samples is capable of being registered by water and expressed in the form of different crystallization. And crystallization is something so obvious to anyone that it has much a greater impact than other techniques used to date. Water is the most receptive of the 4 elements, and according to Emoto's studies, it reacts to non-physical events such as thoughts. This may seem silly, but it is quite revealing. It's quite revealing as it tells us that really, depending on the feeling we have, our bodies take on one form or another, for the simple reason that our brain emits radiations or vibrations that affect the structure of 90% of our organism, and of course also the other way around. That is to say, depending on the structure of the water in our organism, we will feel one way or another. Thoughts can change the body completely. The brain does not differentiate between the reality seen with the physical eyes from the reality seen with the eyes of the mind. That is to say, for the mind, there is no difference between what is seen and what is imagined. Therefore, one can create one's own reality, depending on one's beliefs and thoughts, as we are the result of our thoughts. And all this is recorded in the memory of our water. Example: a writer who writes a book, and as he writes, he is amazed by the quantity and quality of information that he easily extracts from his mind, to such an extent that he says to himself, "I don't recognize myself, this is not me." At this point, he breaks the existing reality at that moment and exchanges for another reality in which he is used to seeing and recognizing himself, another reality from the past, where he sees himself writing, but not with such ease and creativity. He is constructing another reality. He was in a creative and positive reality, now changing it to a negative one. Hence, the importance of having positive thoughts, because we are the result of what we think. We are what we think, never better said, since the thoughts we have daily shape our reality. Hypnosis shows that negative phrases said to a child are deeply engraved in his mind, even if they are later forgotten. These messages remain in his unconscious and will limit him a lot during his life. Phrases like "you're lazy," "you are not good for anything," "you should not have been born," "you are a burden for me," "you are stupid," "you never understand anything," "you are not good for this or that," etc. And who says phrases like that? Precisely their nearest and dearest, their parents, the beings whom the child admires and considers all-powerful. So whatever they say, that's how it should be. Some messages are so painful that they pass into conscious oblivion, but they remain in the unconscious, causing insecurity, unwillingness, depression, anxiety, etc. Parents undoubtedly love their children, but in moments of offuscation, they may say violent phrases without realizing it. The most serious thing is when these messages are forgotten, because by not being aware of them, the person can do nothing to reflect and overcome their insecurities. However, although forgotten, they remain in the depth of the mind, suspecting their existence by the appearance of certain symptoms or disorders of psychological origin. In any case, the solution is to engrave new positive messages on top of the old ones. Cognitive restructuring. Phrases such as "I'm capable," "I'm confident," "I'm important," "I can do it," etc. Even if it now feels that they are not true, the unconscious mind does not distinguish the real from the imaginary and will eventually accept them. If it is accepted negative messages, which were false before, it can also accept positive ones. In this way, one creates a much more positive reality. We are ready to learn at any age. If we open our minds to this possibility, we'll be much happier, smarter, and healthier. A good way to begin to restructure the mind with positive messages would be to place a sign in front of our bed, so that it is the first thing we see when we wake up and the last thing we see when we go to sleep. Today, you are going to discover the extraordinary person inside you. If you're interested in learning more about clinical hypnosis, watch our next video, Direct Clinical Hypnosis, Depersonalization and Theorization. Remember, read the description of this video where you can find a link to free training classes on clinical hypnosis, and also you can download self-free ebooks. If you have any questions, add them in the comments area. On this topic and many others we'll talk about in the channel and in the videos that we'll publish. So, if you're interested, do not miss our next videos. Thank you very much.